being in church early in my life definitely helped me stay on the right track now.
Oh, Mom, I know you're so proud.
I wish I was there, but I don't want my makeup to turn on.
You are watching Live Set Apart episode 20. Yes, there have been 20 episodes of my podcast, and I'm so excited. And for this episode, I have done a first. I am interviewing a duo, one of my classmates, Benevolence Ingram, and her son, Cameron Patrick. So we have not been in touch since graduation in person, but we have been following each other, still connected via social media. And very recently, I saw that her son launched his first business, and I was so proud, of course, of her son, but most importantly, I was so proud of her as a parent, because I know that his success is directly connected to her success as a parent, and I wanted to share their story on my podcast. So in this episode, you will get to hear from her and her amazing, talented, God-fearing, grounded, wise son, Cameron Patrick. And I do hope that you enjoy this episode. If you have not already, be sure to subscribe to this channel so that you never miss any new uncut episodes of the podcast or any of the other inspirational content that I share on this channel. And then also, as you're watching, do leave a comment to let us know what you're thinking about our interview. And if you have any other tips or advice that you'd like to share, anything that has helped you as a parent to successfully raise the gifts that God has blessed you with in your children. Enjoy. Hello, Benevolence and Cameron. It is so great to have you as guests on Live Set Apart. I am so excited to be able to share your story with other people and just to hear how God has worked in such a mighty way in both of your lives. So thank you so much for taking the time to be with me today.
Thank you so much. We're excited.
Thank you for having us.
Yes. So I knew immediately when I saw, first of all, everyone, Benevolence and I are classmates. We graduated from Mays High together in 2000, class of 2000.
The best class ever.
The best class ever. Yes. And although we haven't been in close contact since graduation, we have been connected via social media. Mm-hmm. And a few months ago, I saw that Benevolence posted that her son launched a new business as a photographer. And I was so proud of them both. But I was extremely proud of my classmate because I know that her son's success is directly related to her success as a parent. And I wanted to spotlight that because we have a lot of parents, a lot of people rather with children who aren't necessarily parenting. And I feel that it is so important. First of all, being a parent is such a blessing, first of all. And there's also such a huge responsibility attached to it because the Lord has basically granted you stewardship of this creation, his child, and you have a responsibility to be a good steward of your children. And so I love to highlight that because I'm a huge proponent of great parents and people living out their purpose. So I just said a lot. With all of that being said, we're going to just jump right into it and start at the beginning. And like I said before, there are people with children who aren't necessarily parenting, who just don't focus. And it's not to say that they're bad people at all, but their focus just isn't necessarily on parenting and building up their children. And so I want to know, I'm just curious if before you had Cameron, if you had any parenting goals in mind, and if so, what were they?
So I had Cam at an early age. So I knew being the best mom was one of the goals. I knew that, I mean, I had great parents. I had great parents that were, I mean, ideal. Like I wanted to be calm, like my mom. My dad had ways, of course, most fathers were very stern. I'm gonna use that word. So I knew that I wanted to say qualities from him as well, but my mom had a way of just nurturing and understanding and calmness. And I wanted to pass it on to being the mother, that ideal mom. Being a young mother though, I knew I wanted to, I knew I needed a boy because of the strong personality that I had. And I knew that a girl, a mini me, that would work. So
still a mini you in some ways, still though.
You're right. So at a blessing, when I did marry his father, I knew, okay, so my child, whatever, boy or girl at that point, because you start out, I want a boy. But then as the pregnancy grew, I was like, as long as my baby is healthy, I don't care. So then God blessed me with my heart's desire. And then as we go through this interview, it's going to be, God's blessing was more than what I could have even imagined.
Definitely. So at least you knew you wanted to be a good parent. And then you had that experience, with good parents. So not everyone even has that experience where they even know, what is a good parent.
Exactly.
Right.
So it's a blessing that you even had that experience. And we could talk all day about God giving you the desire of your heart. Even after you had come to a place where, you know what, Lord, whatever you have for me, as long as my baby is healthy, I'm good. But he still gave you the desire of your heart, gave you a son, and now you have Cameron. So I believe you two are members of Word of Faith.
Yes.
Correct. Okay. So you probably heard Bishop.
Not to cut you off, I just want to add this story, because this is a part of God's path. Before I even knew, I joined the church when I was pregnant with Cam. Okay. So Cam was in my belly, and we were still in Ben Hill. So this dates how long we've been members. So I walked to the front when the church was on the main sanctuary had a left side and a right side. That was it. I walked down the middle. It was the summertime because I had on this maternity pink, no sleeves sweater type thing. And I was pregnant, and I really. And I joined the church before he was born. But he and being with me became members before he was born. So I knew, so I wanted to add that part in.
Yes, definitely. What a great ministry to be born into, Cameron.
Yeah, for sure.
Great ministry. So you've been a member for so long. I know you have heard Bishop mention this, that it's important that parents are attentive to their children, and that's their needs. And he specifically says their bend. So like a child's natural bend. So that's their giftings or their interests that they're naturally into. And it's important for parents to know that, so that they can steer them in that direction and not their own direction. Like I want my child to be a doctor,
Exactly.
So steer your child according to their natural bend. So tell me about how you began to discover Cameron's natural gifts.
Cam was a super loving person. As a child, he's always gravitated to that organic, natural love. I felt like he was a magnet for spirits, and because I believe in the spiritual side, the Christianity side of spirits. So he would be in a person's presence, and with a bad energy or spirit, my child would start to cry, like simple. But when he was in the presence of a positive, a godly spirit, he was just as calm. So I knew as he grew up, his ability to discern spirits, he didn't even know what that was. Like, he was a child, but he already could pick up on personality type. So for him, I watched that development, that gift in him transform when I would ask him to do something and he didn't want to do it. Oh, that side that side of me watching the ability to, I'm gonna do it because mommy said so. However, I'm gonna make this a whole drawn out process. So now the flip side of that, I learned quickly when he loved to do something, he's eager. He's the first out the gate. He's up, he's on time. Matter of fact, he's early, he's eager, he's detail oriented. He's crossed all T's, dot all I's. So I was like, oh, okay. So now it comes into, he started playing basketball at the age of 4. At that age, we put him in all sports. So he was playing baseball, basketball. I'm missing a sport, Cam. I'm sorry. What sport am I missing? It was one more, I think.
Did you say football already?
Yes, football.
Oh, okay.
So we learned quickly of the sports he didn't care for because of his behavior, because of how he felt. But basketball was something that he fell in love with. So that's when I learned, okay, so now basketball became a thing, the sportsmanship, the camaraderie, that was a thing that he connected to. Now with his arts and his demeanor on how he loved hands-on. He was very hands-on and could figure out anything. I would buy him video games, Valerie, from GameStop, and Cameron would beat the game in a couple of days.
Wow.
Now, great. I mean, smart. That's great. But I just spent $60 on a game that is already no longer in use to him. Now it's sitting over in the corner, you know? So I was like, okay, so he's super smart. So the graphics, though, I learned from the art side of it. And it took me a while because I'm thinking normal kid playing video games. This is where this is coming from. But no, it was his ability to figure out the detail of the game in order to beat it that fast. So kind of fast forward to his degree path, he's in filming. So everything about detail orientation of behind the scenes, every little nuance of photography or whatever, that was that development skill set in him at that young.
Yeah.
So I noticed just from how he would, and I guess to make it simple, how he would be excited versus I will do it because I'm told to, but you could tell that I don't like it. That turned into his development of what he chose, where he is today.
Wow. That's awesome that you saw that and then pushed him forward in football. I want my baby to be in the NFL.
No. Cam quickly made it clear. And that was another part of his being very young. We allowed him to be vocally free. And that came with being respectful. Okay.
Right.
So I come from very old school parents. They didn't play that speak your mind parenting at all. No, Cam knows better. But we allowed him, if you felt a certain way, we want you to be okay with saying how you feel. So after a football game in Carrollton, I think it was in Carrollton, Cam made it clear he was 4 or 5. He said, I don't want to play football anymore. He said, I don't like being hit. And we made it clear that was enough for us, not going to force it, you know? So Cam, I think, built that respect for his parents. If I say something in a manner, my parents will listen, they will honor. And that was our two-way street. That's how we parent him.
Yes. Well, Cam, we haven't heard a lot from you yet. I'm curious because
Hello.
You were born into that great ministry that we mentioned earlier, Word of Faith.
Right.
And so I'm assuming you grew up in church. And I'm wondering
Exactly.
how that has influenced the young man who you are today. I remember being at Word of Faith as a teenager, and and I know how it influenced my the last 2 years specifically of high school. I know how it influenced me. So I'd like you to tell me a little bit how it influenced you even before high school, or as early as you can
Yeah.
remember, as you were growing up, being a member of church, being active in church, and how you think it has impacted the man who you are today.
Right. It's impacted me, and like my mom was talking about how I can tell like people who to be around, who not to be around. Like I was raised around good people and like people with the right mindset, so I can like tell. It's more just like a feeling of just, okay, this person is into X, Y, and Z. I need to be aligned with people more ABC, so I'm going to go that way. So the biggest thing is that, and just it's helped me grow as far as just my morals, just trying to be on the right path, not drinking and partying all the time, things like that. Especially in college, like it's all around you, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So just to stay focused on my goals and photography and music and in my grades. So I definitely think being in church early in my life definitely helped me stay on the right track now.
Oh, Mom, I know you're so proud.
I
Camera,
wish I didn't care, but I don't want my makeup to come on.
go for it. Let the tears run. This is the time.
Yeah.
This is the time. Camera, remind me which college or university you're attending.
The University of West Georgia.
Oh, okay. So not too far from home. Okay, so I'm kind of skipping around a little bit because I wanted to kind of pick your brain, Cam, about your generation, Gen Z. Right. So there's a ton of research out there that basically sums up your generation as kind of like being lost, the lost generation. So of course, this does not mean that every single person in that generation is lost, because I can see from with my own eyes that, on the flip side, some people say you all are lost, but what I see is Gen Z going out there and going after what they want. I mean, look at you starting your business. Yeah. I see that. So for every young person they say is lost, there are like 20 who are not and who are informed of what their purpose is, and they're going after their goals. And so tell me a little bit about, you shared how, being in church has helped you, to grow spiritually and help to develop your morals and your values. But tell me a little bit about your journey to discovering your purpose, because even though there are, young people out like you who, are comfortable in their purpose and know what they were created to do, there are so many others who are lost, and they identify themselves as being lost and not knowing their purpose. So tell me a little bit about your journey to discovering your purpose.
Just to go back to like my generation being lost, I think that this day and age has so much technology, and we can look up whatever at the, a couple like clicks of our thumbs. So it's just a lot of information. So like, we don't know exactly what to do. Like other decades, like our parents or our teachers would tell like people what to do, and then they would just grow up doing that. But now you have your parents, teachers, social media trying to tell you how to get money this way or that way. Like it's just a lot of, of stuff being thrown at you. So it can create a lot of people being lost, like not sure what they want to do, but it could create people like me, where I find like I do a lot of research about a lot of things, and I find something, I'm like, oh yes, that's that's the thing. But as far as my journey, just going through, like my mom said, with sports or just even like little things like playing video games, just I always had a passion for just art and storytelling and telling stories through different mediums. So I just gravitate towards like songwriting. I just do that every day because I just love to do it. And then photography, like I name my business Capturing Memories because that's what I enjoy to do. Like I enjoy taking a photo of someone in their happiest moment. Just little things like that. So yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for sharing your insight on that generation. Like I said, there's a lot of research out there, but then there's also evidence, yourself included, of those who have found their way in their purpose and who are changing the world in your unique way. And that's what my podcast is all about, featuring people who have embraced who God has created them to be and who are changing the world in their unique way. And of course, you have begun as a photographer. You're still in school for film. And I am confident that you will share some compelling stories through your gift of writing. So I'm excited about that as well.
Thank you.
Thank you
very much.
I think you described it as compelling and relatable or real or something like that. Anyway, it's going to be good, whatever it is, when it comes out. So Benevolence, Cam has shared how he shared about his journey to discovering his purpose. And I can only imagine, because I'm not a parent yet, but I can only imagine how you have felt as a parent watching him go through this journey and discovering his purpose and who he is and who he was created to be. And so I'm wondering, as a parent, how you have balanced or continue to balance guiding Cam and allowing him to grow through life and make his own mistakes.
So it's hard. It's difficult. Because if I could protect him from every hurt, harm, then I would. But with him making his own decisions, and Cam can attest to this, he will make his own decisions. despite how I encourage, or especially now that he, once he turned 18 and, started his freshman year in college, that was his permission, like, wait, I'm grown. But for him though, it was, I've watched him grow, and I had to put on the full armor of God, I want to say, because I knew that hurt was going to come. I knew that he was going to make mistakes. But I had to stay strong and pray. So everything that he does, even now, this part he may not know, but I do when he's traveling, or because he used to, he was traveling at a very young age with basketball. So when I couldn't be there, of course, nerves on 1,000, doesn't matter. My kid is with somebody else. I know them, but I don't know them. I don't, that's me, my mini me going somewhere. So even now at his age, I'm the same way with praying. I have to continuously pray, God protect him. And my mom would pray this prayer, Lord, build a wall of fire around and protect him from any hurt, harm, danger, or injury. So I prayed that because my mom prayed that for us, and I prayed that for him. So mistakes will come, and we'll talk through. So he'll have situations where, I try to encourage and explain, because he's that type of child. I can't just say, Cam, don't open the door. I have to say, Cam, don't open the door because there's a fire on the other side. I have to give him the full story. So he's like, all right, I won't go open the door. Because my child would go open the door and be like, so why can't I open the door? And I'm, but with that type of parenting, he listens for the most part. And when I give him, because I know his language, I speak his language. That's how, with mistakes, I try to give him the full 360 story. So he will then be able to make a decision. You know what? I'm going to try it out anyway. Or, you know what? I'm going to listen. So that's how, with mistakes now, and even growing up, I try to give him the full layout of this is why this is not the best decision. Yeah.
I feel like there's so much wisdom in that in that method of parenting, because when I was growing up, I was just told, don't do this, don't do that. And as I've
Same
gotten
here.
older, right. And as I've gotten older, I've learned that I am naturally a challenger and a learner. And so I have always wanted to know the why. And I feel like there were a lot of teachable moments. No shade on my parents at all, but there were a lot of teachable moments that they missed out on by not just explaining to me the why. And so I like how you realized that that's how you needed to parent Cam, and that's what you did. And it has obviously worked. It has worked. So Cam, tell me a little bit about that moment. Sometimes, and I kind of stole this from Oprah, but I ask guests sometimes, what was your aha moment? If you could think back to the moment when you just knew that you had to live out the purpose that God created you for.
Just like, I often think about the things that like make me happy. So like I said, storytelling, things like that. And it just starts to overcome my thoughts. So if I don't act it out, this is just gonna eat away at me. And I feel like you should you should love, what you're doing. You should live out, what God put you on this earth to do. Like you should do your purpose. So yeah, even just like asking why, just to get a better understanding of just life, to help better prepare me later in situations, understand, okay, maybe I should go like this, or don't do this, or do, just to do things like that. So yeah, just to live life happy.
Yes. I'm listening to you and I'm like, I'm so jealous. Like, I wish I could go back in the past and and just hone in on that then, when I was your age.
At that early age.
Yes.
Right?
Trying to get all the wisdom and knowledge I can. I'm trying.
Yes.
Early.
And just go for it. I mean, why not? If you already know what God has placed in your heart for you to do, just pursue it. That's what he wants us to do anyway. So I just love to hear you say that. And I want to go back to something your mom mentioned, which was prayer, and how important of a role prayer has played in her, balancing how to allow you to grow and make your own mistakes. And I'm just wondering I wonder what the role that prayer has played in your life.
Prayer, just when I feel, obviously, like when the good times roll, obviously thank God, but just also in times when, I'm down on my luck, or I'm like not feeling great, because, there's days, we're not perfect beings at all. Like some days we're happy, the next day we could be tired, sad, there's a lot of things happening in life. So just to have that anchor as far as prayer, just to help me feel better, and just have someone to talk to, and just to know that like he's listening, pretty much.
Yes. Now I wonder, do you, and I'm sorry, this was not in your questionnaire, but I'm just curious. I'm curious if you have peers who you can talk to, like when you get discouraged, or who you can pray with, when you get discouraged.
I actually do. This year I joined this group on campus called The Gathering, and a lot of Christians come together, and there's like a speaker that comes and things like that. And I've grown for a couple of friends through that group. So actually, yes, I do have people I can talk to and go to. So that is helpful, especially to have people like my age and going through like similar things I'm going through at this moment to talk to.
Yes, and you all can relate to each other and relate to, your experiences.
Right.
So Benevolence, when I have guests and I often ask them what their greatest accomplishment so far has been, they typically, all of the parents say being a parent. And I think it's so sweet, and I love it because, you know, Bishop has said before, no amount of success can compensate for failure at home.
Yes.
And so I think it's great that parents are proud of, you know, parenting being their greatest accomplishment. And you share more or less that you are so proud of who Cam has become. What else can you share about some of your greatest accomplishments so far?
So the top of the list, of course, as you mentioned, is being the mom to this amazing young man. I can't say enough or express in words. There aren't enough words to say how proud I am to be blessed with a son that is so mature. He's been mature as long as I can remember, but his ability to be like my God's gift. You know, that's been I feel like God loved me enough to bless me to be the mother of this amazing young man. So that of course is top of the list. My second portion would be my ability to, as a career, because my parents, I don't know who had the vision of what, but my name itself, Benevolence, I grew into it. Mm-hmm. And that name alone, my name has become my brand. Mm-hmm. So that has been my second accomplishment, I want to say, with learning who I was gifted to be. Mm-hmm. Because benevolence, or being benevolent, which some people call me that, and it's like, no, that's wrong. Being benevolence is an act that I have to, there is no way around it. With my name, I can't act the way sometimes I would want to act because it's expected of me to be benevolence. So that was my second. And then I want to say, just on a tier, and I want to give, I've mentioned my son, I've mentioned my parents, but I have not given honor and I have not given due justice to my husband. Mm-hmm. When I tell you, my husband, he's in a different lane by himself, because to deal with someone like me, I want to say that Leo has been a part of my, I don't want to say even accomplishment. I feel like that was God's way of being like, all right, so now that you understand who you are, now that you've been obedient because you've ran through your 20s doing what you wanted. So now that you've done that, now you can see with a clear vision on who I am blessing you with. Mm-hmm. So my husband, Leo, has been absolutely amazing, and Cam, I don't want to speak on behalf of you, but I want to say an amazing role model for Cam, a great stepfather to Cam. And my other bonus children. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's been an amazing, without my support system, with my husband and our children and even our grandchildren, it's been amazing. So I want to say, from being a single mother to now being a mother of 2 additional bonus children, and they're not children, they're grown. So Cam is our youngest. Mm-hmm. So let me not say that on video. And they're like, wait, what? So Cam is our youngest, but my support system by far is dynamic.
Wow, what a blessing. And I'm so glad you shared that about your husband. There was a message in there just for me to hear, and you sharing that about your husband. So I heard you, Lord. I hear you. So Cameron, please share how people can book you to capture their memories.
Right. On Facebook and Instagram, just message me, and then I can talk you through, what the look you want, location, outdoor, indoor, things like that. Mm-hmm. Just message me on those platforms and I'll get back to you. And then I have my phone number linked there as well. So you feel free to call me, message me. So.
All right. And remind listeners of what your Facebook name is and all of that good stuff.
Right. Capturing Memories, and the handle is capturingmemories.cm. So yeah, Capturing Memories.
All right. Now, Benevolence, before we leave, is there a message that you'd like to share to parents regarding supporting their children and their children's dreams?
I want to say, for those parents that are feeling like you have to be in control, let go. You have to let go and let God, because it's not going to work with you in the driver's seat. You have got to get out of the passenger seat. Well, get out of the driver's seat, hop into the passenger seat, because it's not going to work. One, God has his own plan for your child, and then your child has its own plan. So you're double teamed. So that's the best advice that I can give when you are wanting, especially if you have a young adult like I do. Let go and just continue to pray, stay prayed up, continue to believe in God, and you just gotta just go ahead and scoot over because it's going to happen. So that would be my advice.
All right. And Cam, is there anything you would like to share with your peers, either about pursuing their dreams, or anything you'd like to share with your mom about, her supporting you, or just to parents in general about supporting their children?
Okay. So the first one, just pursue what you love, because the older you get, the more responsibilities you have, the more workload is going to be put on you. So it's going to be harder to pursue your dreams the older you get. And my mom, I love you, and thank you for your support and letting me just to be more free as far as what I want to do, and not having the stern hand as far as do that, don't do that, just letting me be free. So, and advice to parents, like my mom said, just it's hard, because when you love your child, when they're younger, you tell them what to eat, to drink, to where to go, you drive them to school and back, all that stuff. So as the kid gets older, I imagine it'll be hard to, let go of some of that responsibility. But like my mom said, you just have to let go and let God. I think that's a great advice to give to any parent, for sure.
Yes, very, very well said. Again, I thank you both so much for sharing this. I know it's definitely going to be a blessing to listeners, and I will continue to send people to your Facebook and Instagram page, Cam.
Awesome.
So that you can capture some memories. Thank you both again so much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.